ain't no way. It's Zero and Leo bringing the play. Tag team champs of the podcast world. Wrestling stories spinning unfurled. Uncut, unfiltered, no holding back. Throwing chairs, throwing facts, and a verbal smack. Uncut, unpolished, but sharp as steel. This is the wrestling pod that's keeping it real.
Yes. Welcome to Uncut. As you can see, it's the British takeover again, me and Leo, because Bobby decided that he didn't want to do it again today. Slacking off again, basically, and that. But yeah, see what's what. So I'll pass over to Leo to do a small intro. A minute.
Yes, I'm Leo from the Wrestling Retrospective. Very happy to be here. And yeah, when you think of takeovers and stuff, you think of great sequels. Shrek 2.
Yeah.
Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed,
Yeah.
Revenge of the Fallen, Transformers, and now we've got this one as well.
Yeah, that'd probably be a third and a fourth and everything like that, because Bobby would probably just we're just going to keep going like the Fast and Furious series,
Absolutely.
There'll be loads of us. We'll get up to about 100 soon or whatever it'll be.
And yet, it won't be anywhere as ridiculous as the actual Fast and Furious films.
No, it won't be. No, not at all. So, so it's been quite a busy week anyway. We might as well get into it. Let's go through some of the news then, first of all. So this actually came down on the 4th, this came down on. So start of the week. It's come down saying that WWE has plans underway to introduce most pay-per-views now as 2 nights, starting from Survivor Series next year. So what they're looking to do, it could even be potentially this year. It'll be next year, starting from the Royal Rumble. They're looking to do 2-night pay-per-views for all the big ones. So they're looking at Rumble, Mania, Money in the Bank, Survivor Series, and SummerSlam basically. Throughout the next couple of years. That's obviously a money grab, isn't it? To try and get you to do it that way, and also as well, and they can fit more things in. So.
Yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. It makes bigger and longer shows easier to digest for us.
Yeah.
I think the only issue they'll come up with that from fans wise is for events like the Royal Rumble and Money in the Bank that are going on like during school. During school times and school seasons, is the fact that people won't be able to stay up on a Sunday night.
Yeah.
Is why I felt Saturdays were working really well. For example, me and my brother watch WWE pay-per-views together, and one of the main reasons is because it's on a Saturday. So when my brother was at school, he was still able to come around at the weekend and watch them.
Yeah, because I know. See, what they're also planning on doing as well is there was something that Nick Khan said ages ago, and they're still planning it. Is round where the big ones are going to be 2-nighters. The other shows, such as when you have Clash and when you have the other shows like Crown Jewel and stuff like that, those weekends they're going to make them TKO weekends, as they're called. And I don't know which night they're going to do it on, but what they want to basically do is they want to have SmackDown on the Friday, and then either a WWE pay-per-view or a UFC event on the Saturday, and then the alternate one on the Sunday with then Raw on the Monday, basically. So you then get 4 days of TKO, and they're all going to be in the same city, basically. All the same city, roughly the same arenas if they can do for it. So, that's sort of what they're going to end up looking to do. So really, they're saying there's only going to be the big ones that are going to be 2-nighters, but you're still going to end up having the UFC ones and stuff like that, obviously, if you're into that. And, they're planning on doing crossovers. They're going to end up having some of the stars from the WWE events at the UFC event, basically, coming out into the ring and stuff. And now with a certain person who returned at SummerSlam as well, that'll probably be wise as well, really. They can do a crossover there and stuff.
So.
Yeah, and that's so. Yes, that's that one. Me personally, I don't know if I like that idea, because like what you said, most of the time, Saturday nights were perfect because then you can have the Sundays off then and stuff. But if they're doing them Saturdays and Sundays all the time, it's just going to be ridiculous, really.
Yeah, I feel like I don't. Like I said, it kind of depends how they go about it, but They say with SummerSlam being in the school off season, WrestleMania, I believe most of the time is within the Easter holidays.
Yeah.
It then just means that Royal Rumble and Money in the Bank and maybe Survivor Series are harder to watch just because of, people, obviously, ordinary live stuff,
Yeah. Yeah, considering as well that they obviously turn around and say they cater for all ages and that as well, and then of course they've got it that
Yeah.
way. The only way which they can really get around it is if they start the events earlier. So say like they start the events at 6 p.m. over in America, which should obviously be like 11 for us. And that's potentially the only way which they can really justify sort of doing these big events, because then that when it's on earlier, so it finishes earlier, which kind of makes more sense. But this is WE and they don't really make any sense. So to be fair,
Yes, very true.
yeah. Right, some other bits and pieces then. So a lot of this came down yesterday. So I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce this name, but basically the chairman of Saudi Arabia, basically. So he's like the advisor to the king and everything like over there. Has basically turned around and said that Saudi Arabia has signed for a major event for 2027. And somebody basically turned around and said, "Is this WrestleMania?" And he went, "Yes," basically. So somebody in the comments turned around and said, "Is this WrestleMania? Are you finally bringing WrestleMania over?" And he said, "Yes, we are." So it seems like Saudi have just signed on for WrestleMania in 2027. For it,
I mean, the thing is that is it actually WrestleMania? Because we also heard down the pipeline that there were going to be 2 WrestleManias in a year.
Yeah.
And that one of them was going to be in the States and one of them was going to be in Saudi Arabia.
I mean that's come out again today. Like I've seen that report come out again today. Is that they want to do, and that Saudi I can't remember who reported it today. Actually, I've seen it again today. But yeah, like one of them someone said like you would get two WrestleManias. So you'd get one in April and one in November for it.
Yeah,
because of Saudi want their own Mania. So it could be that one. You never know. It could be 2027. And they basically do it as WrestleMania then. I don't sort of know like how they're going to be able to do 2 WrestleManias in 1 year, but they'll find it some way, won't they? They could call it Saudi Mania,
is that like the whole point of when it was called Super Showdown and Crown Jewel was the fact that it was supposed to feel like a WrestleMania, just not officially called that.
Yeah. So,
which is why we got like how everything was not really canon for a while when they went to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, but it was all just off thingy, wasn't it? That and like that's why you had like Taker and stuff like that show up randomly and stuff. But yeah, so I mean, I don't know how they're going to work this. If they do end up doing the 2 WrestleManias in 1 year, like what the rumor is for 2027, then that's just going to be, I think that's going to be overkill, really, because they're going to be trying to book for WrestleMania twice in 1 year, really, in my eyes.
Yeah, I can't help but feel like when I'm thinking about it, my head goes towards it'll be very similar to a WrestleMania, but they won't call it WrestleMania.
No,
they'll call it like its own thing for for them.
They won't call it WrestleMania. It'll be Saudi Mania.
I can't help but feel like it'll be called something else.
Yeah. But no, but yeah, that's what they've been hinting over there is for 2027 a major sporting event. And obviously with the whole WE thing and stuff, that's what got everyone onto that track. And like I said, that same person got asked, and they were like yes when they were asked about WrestleMania. So I don't know, it could be that. Yeah. Some people were like, oh, it doesn't make sense because they like that it should be rotated to a different city by then or whatever. But as we've seen for next year's one, it was meant to be it was meant to be
New Orleans.
And it got changed. Yeah, it was meant to be New Orleans, and then Vegas outbid them. So that's the thing. Money talks, and it could change again by 2027 if somebody outbids Saudi, which I don't think they're going to be able to do. But if somebody outbids Saudi Arabia, then
or even if they do outbid Saudi will just come back with another bid that is just considerably more than that.
They've basically got unlimited funds, so they ain't going to be able to like do it that way. And that there's more on the Saudi thing later on, which I'll bring up. Another couple of things then. So Triple Mania has completely sold out with only 1 match being advertised on the card at the time of sellout.
I've heard there's another match.
There is, yes.
I've heard about another match.
Yes,
the mixed person tag match.
Yeah, that's now been confirmed. So that is Finn Balor, JD McDonough, and Raquel Rodriguez will face Mr. Iguana, Nino Hamburgues, and Lola Vice. I think I said that name right. Nino Ambergres, or whatever it is. But yeah, that's that one. In a mixed tag team match. But yeah, so they've sold out sort of already. And as I was saying to people, that's the power of Dominic Mysterio. You announce Dominic Mysterio and El Grande Americano in a match,
Yeah,
instant
pretty much.
sellout. I think that was the match which got them sold out. So I mean, that's that one there. That's all the small news. Now we might as well go on to the big news that broke yesterday.
Yes.
WWE ESPN, as I would like to call it now. So starting from next year in in America, WWE is moving to ESPN for their pay-per-views. There was a bit of confusion around it, but it seems to have been clarified now. Is
No.
people with cable over in America who already have ESPN get the service for free, basically. So if they have cable and they've already got ESPN, they get it for free. If not, then it's $30 a month as a standalone service. But then with that, you also get Disney Plus and, well, it should be Hulu, but Hulu's merging into Disney Plus as well. So and Nick Khan confirmed yesterday as well that we will be getting on that new service next year 10 pay-per-views. So if that's the case, I reckon that we're going to get Rumble and what's normally after Rumble? Chamber?
Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, so Rumble and Chamber will still be on Peacock, and then after Chamber it will move to
Right. Yeah.
That's what it sounds like. So to me,
Because they'll
unless
they'll advertise the first pay-per-view on ESPN, WrestleMania.
that'd be it. So that'd be the first one there. Interestingly though, NXT is not going on to ESPN. NXT's pay-per-views are still up for bidding, and that with at the minute the rumor is going around is that that's going to end up going on to Disney Plus on their live streaming system there.
Which is just the same thing, pretty much. So.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing. Yeah, it's just so they want to try and put it all underneath there, but obviously they're saying, oh yeah, it's a different service and stuff like But then there's also been some rumors as well of they might stay on Peacock because TNA are also apparently going to Peacock as well. So that went in. So they've got both of those brands on the same, on the same sort of platform that way. And going along that way. Yeah. And then Nick Khan as well has also confirmed that when ESPN comes in next year, they're also launching AAA as its own brand and will have its own TV show as well during the week on there. That'll be streamed. He mentioned as part of the ESPN network. So they're either going to whack that on ESPN as well, or we're probably going to get that on Disney Plus, I reckon, or something.
Is that going to be? Is that going to be another thing we can't watch?
Well, no, because we'll probably get it over here. If they do it on that, we'll probably get it added to Netflix or something, and that, or whatever. But that's what they basically. Well, that's what Nick Khan basically turned around and said is that they is that over in America they're looking to do well. He turned around and said that when the ESPN deal comes in, AAA is going to have its own brand and it's going to have its own sort of TV deal for it. Which kind of makes sense. They've brought it on, and and if they can get TNA on Peacock as well, that's going to be bloody amazing. That'll be. But there's also rumors as well of Tubi, but I got sent that one yesterday, and that's ridiculous. I don't understand why they would want to go to Tubi for, because that's basically just YouTube. It's basically a bigger version of YouTube, which if they're signing a 10 million deal, which is what Carlos Silva, the president of the president of TNA's confirmed, I don't think they're going to Tubi, and that by the sounds of it, they're going to be going to Peacock if it's 10 million a year and that. But you still got the doubters and that. Like Bobby used to said, oh no, they definitely aren't signing a 10 million a year deal, and it's like, well, the president of TNA's basically confirmed that it's 10 million basically for it. So and that. But what do you think about that whole ESPN thing and sort of like the
I can only go off like kind of what I've seen online, because obviously it doesn't affect us in any kind of way.
No.
And the reception has been very negative. I think for us it'd be like if NXT and SmackDown were still on BT or TNT.
Yeah.
Netflix had Raw, and then we were having to subscribe to Disney Plus to get pay-per-views.
Yeah.
So having to pay multiple different things to get. Yeah, I think one of the stats is that if you don't have the package for ESPN, you could be spending up to 3 figures just to watch everything.
Well, yeah, because somebody to me said, yeah, at the minute without where the announcement is for NXT pay-per-views, you're looking at $520 a month or something like that, basically, just for watching WE. Basically,
Yeah.
No, $520 like a year or something like that. I think it is just for watching WE.
So the thing with the ESPN thing is like you get all the sports, like all the other sports, but if you're not into that, then you're paying $30 just for a WWE pay-per-view. There's 5 matches and gonna last 3 maybe 4 depending hours.
Yeah,
it's just not worth paying that money.
Yeah, and if you're only sort of getting, and by the sounds of what Nick Khan was saying, if they're going to put 10 on it next year, and that basically says to me you're going to get 1 a month as well. So it's not even that you're getting like 2 a month or whatever, and that if they included the NXT ones into that, maybe it might be a bit better because then you'd then have potentially 2 pay-per-views a month for that one. But and maybe like the NXT specials and stuff. But no, with just the main roster ones, it's not worth it. Not paying those $30 extra.
For me, it's just everything was so much easier with the WWE network.
Yeah,
like everything was all in one place, and it was a lot easier.
Yeah.
But now it's like you've got to go to for example, you've got to go to the WCW YouTube channel to find some of the WCW catalog.
Yeah,
you go to the NXT channel to find some of the NXT catalog.
Yeah.
We don't have every episode of Raw and SmackDown and NXT on Netflix right now. We're still waiting for that.
Yeah.
And I know it's very be very of the minority, but there's no NXT UK.
Yeah.
There's none of the tournaments that we had that were really good, in the late 2010s. So it feels like half the stuff that was on the network that made it really great, we haven't got access to anymore.
No, yeah. Well, the rumor is as well as that in a minute the content library is going to Netflix. Apparently, the entire content library should be going to Netflix when they move to ESPN.
That's fine, but it's been over half a year now since we've had anything added.
Yeah, and it's up to Netflix, isn't it, as well, to obviously add it on as well, and obviously WWE. But I mean, it does make it's ridiculous that that they are sort of splitting it up. But they asked I can't remember whether it was Ari Emanuel or whether it was one of the other ones at TKO why they essentially originally turned around and said, "Oh, you're going to get everything on Netflix, but now you're shipping it out to ESPN." He's turned around and basically said, "We didn't want to put all of our eggs into one basket for it."
Why?
Well, the rumor is what's come out, because there's been a rumor come out, is and Netflix didn't see the value of USA side of wrestling on there. They're happy to have the international rights because, of course, it's a much larger audience than just the US audience. They must have obviously worked out and been like, well, in the US they get 1.6 million or whatever per episode or whatever it is, whereas worldwide, if we obviously ship it out internationally worldwide, we can get 10 million or even more and stuff like that. So that's what the rumor was anyway coming out from it, is that they didn't want the USA rights for Netflix, and it's, I think it was actually Ari, because I've just found the thing now, and he went on that First Take yesterday on ESPN, and basically he confirmed that the 1.6 billion that they're getting for the ESPN deal was a lower offer than what they originally offered, because apparently a different network offered them more. They offered them close to 2 million or 2 billion or whatever it was, but they refused that because they said that ESPN is the better network. That's what they basically turned around and said. So I don't know which other network it was that would have offered them 2 billion, but that's what he's saying, is that is that 1.6 was a low end of the offer that they got from the networks, and and they were meant they had a different network, but they didn't think it was stable enough to run WWE pay-per-views. So I'm just wondering what that one could be, whether it's Amazon or something like that, or possibly something like that, because there was rumors that Nick Khan was trying to ship it to Amazon at one point.
See, my only thing is, I don't think they put it on Amazon because AEW are connected to Amazon.
Yeah, that's the thing. So unless that's the thing now,
But
but
overall, it just feels like it's becoming harder for
mm,
WWE fans to watch WWE,
yeah,
which makes just absolutely zero sense.
yeah. Well, the other thing is as well is that what I've seen. I can't remember who reported this one, but I've seen this one as well. Is basically it's been confirmed that the all of the TV rights deals and like the pay-per-view deals that they've signed, the reason why they're spreading over networks as well is Nick Khan has it wrote into the deals that no other wrestling is allowed on that channel or on any
Yeah,
channels connected to them. So obviously they couldn't go to Max or anything like that because of AEW,
yeah,
and stuff, and they've been chucked off of Fox basically. WWE did so at the end of it, so they couldn't really go to Fox or whatever. So
yeah,
them basically spreading out over networks limits down any other companies from getting TV deals and stuff with those companies. So I guess
yeah,
because then obviously then like with ESPN now, that's essentially Disney, so that stops now. Say for example, like AEW was looking for a new TV deal or whatever, that would stop AEW from being on any channel connected to Disney. So that would mean
yeah,
Fox a lot basically. So that basically kills off their Fox deal that they were meant to be having and stuff like that now basically. So it's it's a sort of smart business move, but then it's also sort of a petty business move as well. Really, at the end of the day.
yeah. It's smart business for like them, but then it's harder for fans to get hold of the thing that they want us to watch.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, because yeah, especially whacking it all behind there now and stuff, and like the
Yeah,
stupid thing is as well that I seen as well was because they confirmed it on this ESPN call as well is that because there was a call yesterday which they confirmed it all on
right.
is that the first hour or two of every pay-per-view is
It's
going to be
just
shown on the ESPN TV channels. So you're going to be able to, for example, get the first hour of WrestleMania on
for free.
ESPN on TV for free, and then basically then they turn around and be like, "Oh, if you want to watch the rest of it, you've got to move over to the new streaming service for it."
Yeah,
And
but
that's
like,
what they're going to basically
I
do.
mean, some places do that anyway.
Yeah. So, but yeah,
So I mean, that
that's what
kind of
they're
makes
doing.
sense. But
It's like a teaser thing, isn't it? So you sort of like go over there and you're like, oh yeah, oh I'm really
but
into this
then
now. Yeah, I'm going to go and pay that $30 or whatever.
will that affect kind of like, for example, this year SummerSlam's opening matches were pretty big matches. The
Yeah,
women's triple threat and the big tag team match. WrestleMania was the Jey Uso moment. Do we
yeah,
now start getting the opening match being a throwaway match and the second match being the bigger one?
probably.
So then people,
Tune
or
into it.
they try and intrigue people that way.
Yeah,
When
I mean,
when we as fans, sorry,
yeah,
when we as fans are known for saying, well, if you don't end the show, the next best spot is to open the show.
yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, I mean, the only other concern is as well as when they turn around and say like the first hour or two is obviously they're doing like these 3 hour long bloody pre-shows now. So unless they mean the pre-shows are going to be on ESPN for free, they could give
Which
you the
makes
pre-shows
sense.
and stuff on that. And I mean, but if it's just talking and like going through matches and stuff, that's not really anything to sort of like entice you
Yeah.
in, is it really? That's the thing. So it's it's sort of a line they've got to sort of consider, like which one do they want to do? Do they want to really put the pre-shows on there of talking and stuff, trying to entice people in, or do they give you like what you said, like the first hour or two basically for free? And that's sort of like, oh yeah, this is it going to be a throwaway match or is it just going to be a sort of big match to try and do it that way? But like if you've got people who are like recently, I've seen a lot of people, like a lot of the Roman fans in one of the group chats that I'm in, they only watched the Roman match and they switched off for the rest of SummerSlam. After the Roman match, they switched off the rest of SummerSlam.
What
So,
kind of mindset is that?
for it. So I mean, like, so that's the thing is like if you like sort of do it that way and you sort of say have Roman and that open up again, then they've sort of defeated the objective of everyone trying to go onto the thing, especially if they only put the first hour on there and that, and you'd basically have like that Roman match opening up to try and entice people in
Yeah.
to do the streaming service, but then you could lose half your fan base by putting that big match on there that everyone wants to see. It's sort of a fine line, isn't it? Really, which you got to sort of like try.
Well, that's it. I mean, I mean, I'd be happy if the pre-shows were put on ESPN, but that meant we got matches back on them.
Yeah.
Like, if we'd done a 3-hour SummerSlam countdown show, but on that we got Sheamus and Rusev, Aleister Black and Damian Priest.
Yeah, they
you know,
that, can they?
Or Julian's Zelina Vega, the matches from SmackDown.
Yeah, put them on there,
then that would have been a lot better off.
Yeah, rather than just doing that. But rather than just doing like a 3 hour of just them talking and stuff. So, but yeah, it makes no sense really. But I mean, it's what WWE want to do. They reckon they're going to be able to do it. So, bugger it. They'll, it's.
I mean, the thing is, it won't affect us, so we won't really know the real impact of it.
No, and that.
Because, everything we have is either on YouTube or on Netflix.
Yeah. So, well, I'm hoping as well that, because this is the thing as well, is say like TNA, for example, goes to Peacock, like what the rumor is, then where do we get it? Because we don't get Peacock. So do we get that on Netflix as well? So do we get TNA Wrestling on Netflix? And that,
I would assume it's probably... well, they've been doing Impact on YouTube anyway.
They have, haven't they? Yeah. So, I mean,
so my assumption is it would just stay like that.
Yeah, fair enough. So we didn't get it through there.
But then there's no point in them offering their monthly TNA Plus deal.
Yeah.
If we're going to get it through on YouTube.
Well, what the report came down, because it's from Body Slam, they've been about for a while and stuff, and to be fair, they have got a couple of good reports and stuff, is basically what Body Slam are reporting is when they sign this new TV deal, the TNA Plus app will basically go. It will essentially just be an archive. So they'll literally just have that as like the archive place. Much like the, what is it? Is it the New Japan app or whatever it is, where you get like the, is it New Japan or whatever it is? Yeah, where you basically where you just literally just get like where you just get the archives and stuff like that. And then obviously
New Japan World have the pay-per-views on it.
Oh, I don't know them, but what they were basically saying is that the TNA Plus thing would literally be, you pay a subscription, you pay like a lower subscription just to be able to get the archives basically for it. That would be what you'd get, and then they'll move everything to this new provider, and being as it's Peacock.
And then we'll get the TNA Vault channel on YouTube.
I expect. I mean, well, this is the thing is, if they do put it on Netflix, that'd be a lot easier for us, because of that when everything's all in one place, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. Well, that is the thing, isn't it?
So we can then just go, just load up Netflix. All weird then need then is then just a Netflix subscription, and that's it really. And then we get everything.
I'll never understand why they wouldn't just have everything all in one place.
Yeah,
it's just so much easier.
Yeah, like I said, it's them spreading out, isn't it, over in America?
Oh no, I get the whole business premise behind it. It's just for fans, easier just to have everything all in one place, like when we had the WWE Network. Yeah,
and that I mean, because they've done a massive advertising campaign for that, isn't it? Basically, and they just literally just scrapped it when they decided to bunk off the bloody W Network and move it all out to get big money deals, wasn't it? Really, that's the thing. It's all about money now. And that's what people need to remember. It is all about money and stuff, and what best deals they can get. But that's that one there. That's that all sorted out. Right, we might as well move in then to SummerSlam, then to what we were just discussing. So, obviously, the 2 nights, we'll quickly go through them, talk about each match, sort of go a quick rundown or whatever. So, night 1 originally opened up with Cardi B just coming in the ring and just shouting like normal. Celebrity shouting. Yep. You'd get that every single pay-per-view. I don't understand why, but...
Did you, watching this, did you notice that she was reading something? Like, she couldn't remember what she was out there to say?
I think there was a script on the camera. I think it was like an auto cue on the camera.
Like... a musician by trade, known for memorizing words, needed to read what she said, which wasn't much.
No, I think if you look closely enough, there was a camera right in front of her, so I do believe she was reading off an auto cue, and that basically is what was on there.
But it just doesn't make any sense as a musician. No. Like, I get it if it was like some kind of comedian or maybe a TV show host or whatever.
Yeah,
but her job is to remember words from stuff.
It's ridiculous, but
I found it very amusing.
But it was just a typical opening with a celebrity shouting down the mic like welcome to WrestleMania and stuff. So you should do it. Yeah, and then we then moved in then to night one's matches. So we've already obviously said about this one, but we had Roman Reigns and Jey Uso versus Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed, or Bron and Bron. Um, in which Roman and Jay defeated Bron and Bron. Yeah, a match. Sound that match? Really got anything?
I
Really?
mean, it was. I found it as a very run of the mill tag team match. You know,
Yeah,
Roman for the hot tag. You know, all very like it wouldn't go amiss on a Raw if it hadn't have been for the star power of Roman Reigns.
yeah,
Um, but it's yeah, nothing really. I mean, the big story of the match was obviously Roman sacrificing himself for
yeah,
Jay, which
yeah,
I feel like was a very interesting way to go about it.
yeah.
But yeah, just it was just a very solid tag team match. There's nothing much else to say about it, in my
No,
opinion. Anyway,
obviously we got the birth of the Shula Fala, so
yeah,
that was something there, wasn't it? So Shula Fala. Yeah, so that was that match. Yeah, I sort of agree. It was just a run of the mill tag team match, really. Star
mm,
power and Roman Reigns there. That's what made it.
yeah.
I think the best bit actually as well was when mid match they just stopped and Roman and Jay yeeted randomly just mid match. That was
You see,
was
I
pretty funny to
didn't
see.
like that.
Did you not?
I No, I don't like the whole continuing the entrance thing. It kind of gets on my nerves.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, I sort of laughed a little bit when it came to it, but yeah, that was that. Yeah, and then we're gonna move on then to Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss versus the Judgment Day, being Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez, in which we have new women's tag team champions, that being Charlotte and Alexa. Um, what did you think for that one? Like, obviously we had some moments and stuff during that match, didn't we? But yeah, sort of anything
Yeah,
really
it was
cool.
just very run seal, especially like just after the tag match we just
Yeah,
had. It was just like,
yeah,
okay, well, this is another tag team match.
yeah,
I would have preferred to see the Judgment Day continue to be tag team champions, just because I feel like having them as champions when Liv came back makes the most sense.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but again, at the same time, in giving the belts to Bliss and Flair makes also a lot of sense. You know,
yeah,
I'm not a complete idiot. I know why they've done it. Um, I don't. I kind of expected a Bliss turn, like just because everyone was concentrating so heavily on Charlotte turning
yeah.
that like Bliss
It'll be
turning would
Bliss.
almost be a swerve, like within the
Yeah,
storyline. But as I said on the Raw watch along, you know, those women's tag titles always make their way back to the Judgment Day. So it wouldn't
yeah.
surprise me if we
They'll
got
be
some
back
kind
on
of
soon.
turn and then
Yeah. Well,
some kind of partnership within the Judgment Day get it back.
yeah. I think as Item said, obviously when Liv comes back, that they potentially could chuck They could potentially chuck Raquel out or something. You know, Raquel could
Yeah,
get the blame for it, and they could swerve everyone then by having Liv team with Roxanne, and they could basically call themselves like Dom's Women or something, or Dom's Angels, and stuff, and like
it's weird how the biggest swerve in that storyline could be that Liv just comes back. Like
yeah,
nothing
yeah,
happens.
yeah.
Liv just becomes part of the team again.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be the big thing, wouldn't it? Really, that's the
Yeah,
thing. So, but I mean, it makes sense, kind of.
yeah.
Yeah. Right, and then we now move on then to Sami Zayn versus Karrion Cross, in which Sami Zayn defeated Karrion Cross. Um, the weird thing is that they were meant to. There was a stipulation with it where it was if Cross had won, Zayn would have to admit that Cross was right, that Zayn was not a good person. But since Zayn won, Cross has to admit that he was wrong about Zayn. But we haven't seen Karrion Cross since this match, and nothing happened. So, I mean, that was sort of
I
pointless, really.
my
So,
my whole thought process was they were never actually going to say the actual things or not. It was
no,
just one of the things that like WWE added on,
yeah,
just
just for the head to it.
because.
Yeah.
Um,
So,
yeah,
yeah,
I will admit I was in a terrible mood after this match.
yeah. After Karrion Cross loss,
As
yeah,
such a
I'm not
big
surprised.
Cross fan, I was quite in a bad mood afterwards. Um,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
then I heard
But
today that Cross has or been offered a new deal.
yeah, well, this is the thing though, is
But I assume it's a kind of we don't know what's true and what's false.
well, this is the confusing thing is Sean Ross Sapp yesterday put out that no deal had been made and that,
Right,
and their deals expire on Sunday. But then
right.
Dave Meltzer put out today that a new deal had been made.
Right.
and that. And again, he's basically confirmed that. Because then what he turned around and said though is that the whole thing that's come out now as well, on top of that, because there's now a third storyline coming out from it, is that it's basically similar to the R-Truth thing where it's a work, and that is to try and
Yeah.
get crossover
So
as
they're
much
going
as
to keep
physically
him off
possible.
TV and then bring him
Yeah,
back at some point.
because quite interesting is Paul Heyman basically on the with Ariel Emanuel yesterday. He basically referred to Karrion Kross as Stone Cold Steve Austin. Basically, he basically to me and said that he's like Stone Cold Steve Austin. So that
Why
came from
is
Paul
everybody
Heyman.
Stone Cold Steve Austin?
I don't know, but that's
Triple H
basically what
with
he was saying.
Rhea.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's I don't know, but that's basically what Paul Heyman said. So everyone's now like, well, hang on a minute, they wouldn't be saying that, and they wouldn't be bringing up Cross and that. Obviously, if he's gone or
He was
whatever, or
out
if
the
he's
door.
going. So and that so that's what's making everyone think now that it's a massive sort of work and
Yeah.
for that. So, but we'll soon find out. I reckon, like I said, it could be well, I've heard a few murmurs that he could be coming back with
The
a new
Righteous.
stable, with the righteous and stuff, and doing it that way because
Yeah.
because of what they've been teasing and what Cross and that's been teasing as well. So
Yeah.
that could be pretty good. And that because I mean the
I think
righteous,
so.
I don't think their deals are up yet though. I don't think, or if they were,
They haven't been
they
seen
weren't.
in months and months and months and months. So
Yeah, so I mean the deals could be up, but that was obviously one of the murmurs and that was going around was that that he could return with righteous. So I mean they could do
yeah,
that.
I
They could
mean,
have him off TV.
I was under the impression that the Righteous were currently free agents.
Yeah, I mean they could be then. That's the thing. I don't know. I
Yeah.
didn't see anything from there, but yeah, if they do end up doing that again, and he sort of disappears off TV for a couple of weeks to add to that speculation that he's gone, so you then have people going, oh yeah, carrying cross to like TNA or carrying cross to bloody AEW or whatever it is,
Wherever.
and stuff or
Yeah.
whatever, yeah. And then he randomly just shows up on Raw again or on SmackDown or whatever with this new
Yeah.
team, then that would be a moment that they could play on. But yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
on that, see what they want to do that way. Next match then, so we had Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill for the women's championship. I think this one they've done the wrong winner because Tiffany obviously retained her championship. I think they've done the wrong winner personally. I don't know
I
about you.
disagree.
Oh, what you think?
I respectfully disagree.
Yeah, fair enough. Oh, what do you think then that it was right calling keeping it on Tiffany then? And stuff like
I
that,
think
right?
it's the right call depending on what we get next with Tiffany Stratton. It makes me very curious about tomorrow's SmackDown.
Yeah.
Because if Belair is clear, then the match they could have could be very, very good.
What, between Tiffany and Belair? Yeah.
Yeah. Because for me, there's only one person who can take the title from Tiffany at this point, who's left within SmackDown's women's division, and that is Bianca Belair.
Yeah.
And I feel like they've had Bianca Belair kind of, I don't want to say on the back foot, but to have her kind of be one of the main people in the women's tag division instead of, I know she, was one of the main attractions of WrestleMania, but a lot of last year was not in the main event scene, which was very, I don't want to say uncharacteristic, but Bianca Belair has been one of the main women in WWE since she came up from NXT.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering whether they just want to get her back to that point, and it starts with a feud with Tiffany Stratton for the women's championship.
Have her defeat Tiffany. Maybe they do that in Paris or in Perth afterwards, because that'd be the next one after Paris, wouldn't it? Really.
Well, I mean, Triple H likes a trilogy, and I feel like those two could put on a great trilogy.
Yeah, I mean, they could even stretch it out to Royal Rumble, couldn't they? If we think about it.
Well,
what's left or Survivor Series or whatever.
Royal Rumble. As I say, my thing would be if you could do Paris, Crown Jewel, and Survivor Series.
Yeah, they could do that.
That'd be a really good way to do it.
Yeah, and then they could finally have Bianca maybe win it at Survivor Series and stuff. Yeah. It's the last pay-per-view of the year.
She goes into WrestleMania as champion, which will never not work because of how popular Bianca is.
Yeah, exactly. So,
but the match itself between Cargill and Stratton was very good. I thought it was probably the second best match on this night.
Yeah,
it's definitely Jay Cargill's best WWE match to date.
Yeah. I agree. She done well. I was just surprised that they never put it on Jade, because I would have thought they might have put it on Jade, seeing as she's meant to be getting this big push and stuff. But I don't know.
I mean, to that, I mean, I said in my review of it that these are like two of the main women they'll have for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
That, Jade's going to have plenty of time to get a pretty good run as a champion.
Fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah. Good point. Yes. So we then move in then to the co-main event, which was Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul versus Randy Orton and Jelly Roll in a tag match. Yeah, I don't know whether you've got much to say on this one because of the whole Jelly Roll thing or whatever. Like, I did find out something quite.
Oh, no, continue.
Yeah, I did find out something quite interesting that apparently Jelly Roll asked to take the loss. He said he wanted his first match not like every other celebrity where they instantly win. He wanted to be the one to get pinned, and he wanted to be the one to take the loss. That's what
reverse psychology.
Yeah. So so that's what he went up and said that to Triple H because he turned around and said, look, he goes, this came down yesterday. This came down on Cody Rhodes' podcast. Sorry, because he done that. That what do you want to talk about, or whatever it is? Because Jelly Roll was on there, and yeah, he basically confirmed to Cody. He goes, that he knows that every celebrity, whenever they come on in and have a first match, they instantly win it and stuff, and they normally are the ones doing the pinfall. But he's turned around and said, I actually went up to Triple H and said, let's spin the narrative up a little bit and let's like have me take the pin and have me obviously lose and stuff for it. So just to like twist it up a little bit. So I mean, that's quite interesting.
Yeah, it was.
Mean, what do you think about it?
I think it was a surprise result as far as like how we're used to seeing celebrities go in WWE. And also the fact that it was Logan as well that made the pin. So like the two regular known wrestlers weren't involved in the pinfall. I thought it was an interesting way to go about it. But other than the table spot, which, respect to Jelly Roll for taking, the match was pretty bad, I'm not gonna lie. It was probably one of the worst matches of the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of agree with what you were saying. I think in the chat at the same time is they could have literally just done Logan versus Jelly, if anything. Then they could have then had a Randy and Drew feud, and that would have been a much better match if they had just done Randy and Drew separate.
We could have just done Randy versus Logan.
Yeah, or Randy versus Logan.
They have history from last year's WrestleMania.
Yeah,
from the triple threat for the US title. That could have been. They could have inserted Drew like pretty much anywhere, and Drew would have been great. We didn't necessarily need this match.
No,
and as I said, it felt like a big relegation for Orton and Drew.
Yeah, well, listening to some of the rumors talking about Drew anyway, as well as apparently the latest one is that now Cena's final match is going to be against Drew. Apparently, that's the latest thing now is that Cena's going to be facing Drew in his final match now. It was going to be Gunther, but they now don't want to. Yeah, I can't remember, but it's that's the latest one now. Is it was meant to be against Gunther, but they don't want Cena basically like. They don't want Cena and Gunther like that, with one of them taking a pinfall. So they were going to have Cena. It's now apparently Cena and Drew, and it'll essentially be like Cena taking a loss to Drew. So it then shows that Drew's like the better person, and that Drew can basically defeat this legend and send him off retiring and that.
Yeah, I think I said it around Elimination Chamber time when I was like, John Cena turns face by Drew being the guy The Rock is actually aligned with.
Yeah, so, yeah.
But obviously, then we haven't seen anything of The Rock, so that kind of doesn't matter anymore. But it's funny how it's come back around to Drew.
Yeah. So I mean, so that's what the latest. Well, that's what the latest is. But with anything, that could obviously change. That could.
Well, it feels like Cena's last match opponent has been changing steadily throughout the year.
Yeah, apparently Cena's choosing who he wants to be his last match opponent, so he's probably looking at people and be like, oh yeah, I want this person, I want this person, I want this person. We never know, it could end up being Lesnar again. They could stretch it all the way out to December and have Lesnar.
Well, I mean Lesnar might retire him before December.
Yeah, he might retire him in Paris if they go and do that match there. You never know.
I can't see them doing that match in Paris. But I assume we'll get to it like when we get to
it. We'll find out and stuff. Yeah, I mean, we'll find out. And then we had originally CM Punk versus Gunther, in which CM Punk won the championship. Held it for 5 minutes and 10 seconds, which is shorter than Drew's reign. Until a returning Seth Rollins came back. Done the Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory stint, where he obviously like pretended he was injured and stuff like that, and came out and like dropped the crutches, took the knee brace off, and then came down and cashed in and defeated Punk. It says that lasted 10 seconds, so he defeated Punk in 10 seconds. That with a because it was a stomp and then the
it was
pin,
just
wasn't
a
it?
stomp,
So
that's it,
yeah. So I mean, what do you think about that whole match? Obviously about the whole Gunther and
The
CM
match
Punk one.
itself, I thought was the perfect match by Gunther.
Yeah.
I thought that he dominated the match for the majority. He absolutely beat the hell out of Punk. And yeah, I've kind of, when we got to like the final sequence of, well, not quite the side, just before the table spot, I guess, I couldn't help but feel like there was a reason why Punk was getting the crap kicked out of him. Because it just had a very different dynamic to how a regular CM Punk match has gone on, like since he came back. Like it was, you said it was. I don't know how else to put it other than Punk got beaten up. And obviously we saw the table spot. I liked the fact that, like, to be one of the people that actually praises Michael Cole for commentary. He mentioned how Gunther hasn't really been split open ever in WWE. Which is why it then cost him the match. Which I feel like people maybe... I mean, I've watched many reviews of SummerSlam, and no one's really mentioned the fact that how panicked Gunther was by being bloody, which is why Punk then took advantage and got the win, instead of it just being like a Super Cena or a Super Cody type situation. No, it was like Gunther was thrown for a loop, and that's what essentially cost him the match.
Like, that's quite interesting, actually.
So then the whole thing was like done in 3 stages where Gunther wrestled a perfect match, Punk had a massive moment, and Rollins had probably one of the most perfect cash-ins you could have probably ever had.
That, and obviously a bit came down for that, where obviously, like, I don't know if you've seen the video, but Becky was laughing backstage and that, it was like how we tricked you and stuff. And that.
Yeah, they showed it in the opening package tonight too.
Oh yeah, didn't they? Yeah, that was it. Yeah, so
it was like, oh, was some of my posts misleading?
And because one of the funny things as well that I found out was what I read as well, because I think Seth again said this in an interview that he went up and told their daughter Rue, and was like, the whole thing was he went up and told his daughter Rue, like, oh, we've got to pretend that Daddy's got a boo-boo, basically, that I'm injured, but you can't tell anyone, and that. And then Rue immediately went up and told her grandmother and her preschool teacher and that. And like, I can't remember who said it now, but like somebody who turned around and done the interview, they turned around and said, just imagine it, that, one of these wrestling journalists like Sean Ross Sapp or whatever goes up and literally goes, oh, we've got it confirmed that it's definitely a work because I spoke to Rue's preschool teacher and that or whatever. And they said they heard it from like a 4-year-old or whatever it was, or whatever old Rue is and stuff.
I remember seeing something about it. It was like only a few people knew about it. But one of the people that wasn't named was Rue.
But I was just like, it's ridiculous. Like,
but yeah, the whole thing was incredibly well played, and it's one of the moments for me, like, where it was, I'm glad to have been worked. Because the feeling within the moment was well worth it.
Like when Seth came out, because you were like, oh yeah, he's because when he first of all came on out, I thought to myself, oh, like, is he just going to come out and sort of like tease CM Punk and stuff, like, to see what they do? And then when he dropped the crutches, I was like, holy shit, basically, like, just like,
well, they did a similar thing with Randy Orton cashing in on Daniel Bryan. Randy Orton just came out and held the Money in the Bank briefcase up, and then went to walk away, and that's when Triple H turned. So it's not exactly the same, but it's like the thing of Mr. Money in the Bank or Miss Money in the Bank coming out, suggesting of like just reminding the new champion that they have the briefcase, but then actually cashing in.
That's the thing. So I mean, it went well. It was a really good cash in, but that was night one. I got something interesting as well to bring up, but I'm going to bring that up at the end of night 2 because it involves something that happened on night 2. But it also involves something that potentially happens on night 1. So night 2 going into that one. So the show opened up with the women's triple threat for the Women's World Championship. in which Naomi defeated Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. Really good match. That was a really good opener.
Yeah.
And that in my eyes, yeah. And that was a good choice to open it up with that match. Not really. Naomi, I was shocked. I was surprised that they didn't put it on Rhea Ripley, considering obviously that Triple H basically gets a massive sort of massive lob on for Rhea Ripley. But it's well played, well played match. I'm not
Yeah.
what's your thoughts on that one, really? Anything really?
Yeah, I thought again, like for me, if you're putting Rhea and Io in a match, you can rarely go wrong. I thought the match that they had at Evolution was absolutely fantastic. Obviously, the triple threat with Bianca that they very nicely had a reference to when Io did the moonsault to break up the pin, but Naomi pulled herself away from the pinfall, so Io only landed on Rhea. I thought it was very well done. The fact that Naomi only controlled the match in the opening sequence, and then after that, it was like only coming in for kind of stopping pinfalls and doing a little bit of offense. And then, for me, as soon as the Avalanche Riptide was getting done, I knew Naomi was going to come in and steal it. But yeah, so everything worked here very, very well. For me, I don't understand the hype behind Naomi. I haven't really liked her ever, but I've never really known her to have a good match just by herself. So I'm very curious to see how the match with Stephanie goes to Paris.
Yeah, it's the rumor behind that one is apparently it's because she's managed to get herself so over since coming back from TNA. That's what people have been saying online and stuff. So like,
one detail was very funny during the match.
Yeah,
when Michael Cole mentioned Naomi going to TNA.
Yeah,
but he did it. I can't remember what he said word for word, but he essentially said that that she was, in a lack of better words, she was let go.
Yeah,
and then she went to TNA, and it was like, no, she walked out. She held the door open for Sasha while she was also walking out.
Yeah, and then sort of that way. Didn't. Yeah, I was going to say
they kind of switched history a little bit there, which I thought was very interesting.
Yeah, so they're obviously trying to play that one up a little bit, aren't they? But that was quite interesting. And then the Wyatt then the next match was a TLC match. In which just before this match we had the Hardys and the Dudleys showing that obviously teases their whole match at Bound for Glory in October. Which will be that's going to be a good event.
I cannot believe we're getting that match still.
Yeah, but still, it'll be a good match, I reckon. So the Wyatts defeated Andrade and Rey Fenix, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. I'll start again. Tommaso Ciampa, Fraxium, Motor City Machine Guns, and the Street Profits. There were some pretty good spots in that. The Candice LeRae ladder spot was top notch for me. I'm surprised Candice is still alive after that. That was a moment there. But what did you think about that one? Have you got anything really to bring up from that one? Or
I mean, it was match of the weekend. You can say what you want about Cody and Cena. You can say what you want about Gunther and Punk. This was just everything you could possibly need in a TLC match. It was there wasn't a dull moment in this one. It's just I don't know what else to say. Everything worked here really well. DIY were 100% MVPs in the match, not only because Candice took one hell of a bump, but Johnny and Tommaso also did the 4-table bump as well. Tommaso Ciampa holding on to the belts but avoiding Nathan Fraser trying to spear him off was something we haven't seen before. So even now we're still innovative within TLC. And everything worked here perfectly in my opinion.
Yeah, it was. That was a really good match. So that was that one. Next one then. So the third match of the day was Becky Lynch versus Lara Valkyria in a no disqualification, no count out last chance match for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, with the stipulation of if Becky Lynch won, then Lyra could no longer challenge for the title as long as Lynch is champion. And of course, Becky retains. There was a couple of spots during that. I don't know whether you've seen the botch with the cable ties, where obviously they came off Lyra's hands and Lyra had to put them back on mid-match. That was a bit of a botch there. Otherwise, it was a pretty solid match and stuff for it, really.
I mean, the way I look at that is it wasn't. I wouldn't say it's a botch as much as it is. it was really hot. They were both sweating a lot, and their
Yeah.
hands just came loose.
Yeah.
I don't think it was. I don't know. It didn't like massively affect the match, in my opinion. But I found this. I don't know. It had a really slow start, in my opinion. But once they kind of got into it, like I felt like there was a couple of like there was the moment where Becky like took a chop and she kind of stumbled back and then bumped.
Yeah.
And that looked a bit weird. But then once they got like flowing into it, it like was a very good match, in my opinion. I was a bit unsure about Bayley's interference until we saw the finish. The finish made it made it make perfect sense.
Yeah.
And just an interesting way to go. With Bayley costing Lyra, I would assume this is going to lead to a Lyra turn. I can't see them turning Bayley just because Bayley's just come off a big heel turn. Spending 2 to 3 years as a heel, having damage control. Whereas we haven't seen Lyra as a heel ever. So I'm very curious to see how that would work.
Yeah, that could be quite interesting for that one. I'm looking forward to a Lyra heel turn if they go that route for that one. Obviously, we know who's the next challenger for Becky's title now. That's obviously Nikki Bella. After that whole John Cena thing as well, which was quite funny on Raw. But we've already sort of gone through that one. Next one then. So Solo Sikoa defeated Jacob Fatu to retain his United States Championship. That was in a steel cage match. That was an all right match. It wasn't anything great, really.
This was surprising,
like
how mediocre it was.
Yeah,
like I was expecting a lot more out of these guys. Obviously, when any part of the bloodline starts fighting, you assume there's going to be some kind of new face or interference, or we kind of have come to expect big things out of anything that involves any members of the bloodline. But this was just very I said, it was fine but that was kind of it. Like the match at Night of Champions, I thought was a lot better than this one.
Yeah, I mean, they had the perfect opportunity to debut Zilla there because Zilla was in New Jersey because he was at that meet and greet. So I mean, because they had a whole stint with him and Bolly Ray and stuff. So so I mean, Zilla was there. That was a perfect opportunity to debut him, and obviously for some reason they're just not doing it. I don't know why. And stuff. So
and the finish felt very I don't know. It kind of left. I don't know how to put it. It just wasn't very good. The cage door thing, and then Solo just falling out of the ring, and then it felt. I don't know how to put it into words. It just felt as if we were expecting more.
It was pretty mediocre, and it was really short as well. It was 12 minutes long. The match was. I would have thought it would have been a lot longer for a cage match, really, between the two of them, especially Jacob Fatu inside a cage and everything like that. You sort of expect more with him being built up as this massive great big Samoan werewolf and that, and then you shove him inside a cage and he takes a loss from it. So which I'm very shocked at.
I thought it was very weird the fact that probably Drew and Priest's cage match from Saturday Night's main event was better than this one, and yet we barely saw anything of that match because the Saturday Night's main events are full of adverts.
So I mean, that was a lot better. And then we're gonna move in then to the co-main event of which was one of the greatest luchadors of all time, Dominic Mysterio, defeating AJ Styles to retain his Intercontinental Championship. I sort of expected Dom to retain because obviously he's going to go and do that AAA match. I can see him walking out with the AAA title and have 2-belt Dom just to really annoy people because not a lot of people want it to be 2-belt Dom, but I see that happening. But as we've turned around and said a few times, Dominic Mysterio is a national legend. Well, he's a hero to all, isn't it? Really. Well, you're the best one to describe it. Really, the best way what he is. So, I mean, but I'll leave you for your thoughts on that one. Really. But yeah, what do you think?
Well, Dominic Mysterio is a hero to all men and lesbians globally. He is the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time and the second greatest luchador, only behind El Grande Americano. He very much showed this during this match. He overcame the odds, in my opinion. We saw AJ Styles brutally hit him over the head with a chair and then put the chair over his own neck as if Dom did something wrong. I thought that was disgusting, especially from a veteran who's supposed to be showing, the younger guys like how to do this wrestling properly.
Yeah.
But also great tactical awareness from Dominic Mysterio to unzip his boot, knowing that AJ Styles is going to go for the calf crusher.
Yeah.
So that he could easily escape that and get the W. So for me, it was once again Dominic showing why he is just one of the greatest like lucha wrestlers of all time, and why he will make the Mysterio, like the last name of Mysterio, a legendary name within wrestling.
Yeah, rather than that other like waste of space dad that he's got, he's not been seen in ages and stuff, and Dominic will be the greatest Mysterio of all time. So yeah, I've got that one. And then the main event then, which was the longest match of the event, which was 37 minutes. This one came in at. We had Cody Rhodes defeat John Cena to become the new WWE champion. Quite interestingly, now they've dropped the undisputed name from it. It's now just WWE champion.
Thank God.
So Cody Rhodes is the new champion after that street fight. To me, I was expecting more. I wanted interference. I thought they made it a street fight because we were going to get people after people after people come out, like the Bloodline Rules match and stuff at WrestleMania, and that. But then I'm also thinking about it, that could show that it was too overbooked, and that. But like I don't know. To me, there wasn't enough in that match to warrant it. I understand obviously what happened after that was the reason behind it, possibly, but like I wanted more from that match in my eyes. What do you think, really?
I don't know. I kind of, for me, like, and I even said this in our group chat. I said the thing with this match was the bar was incredibly low going into this one, as it was, like as far as match quality goes. So for me, we got like halfway in, and it was already better than the match they had at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I thought the only really issue I had with this match was I think John hit like what felt like 8 AAs throughout. I think it was only like maybe 5 or 6. Yeah. But he was going for the finishes a lot. Go on.
It was like a finisher fest, wasn't it, really? That's what I would call it, like a finisher sort of fest match, really. Yeah.
The brawling into the crowd felt unnecessary, other than just to have the moment where they came through the entrance.
Yeah.
But what I did enjoy very much was the kind of the 3 Crossroads getting kicked out of, and then the AA followed by the Avalanche AA also being kicked out of, because these are obviously the moves that they go for when they're in incredibly deep water and kind of having some of their best matches. But this for me felt like John Cena kind of at his best. I think back to the matches with Edge and Randy Orton, AJ Styles, CM Punk, which felt really good. Like for me, it was like more about the story of Cody and how he was wrestling like a heel, like throughout.
Yeah.
Like going even like not. I know he like used the turnbuckle like 3 times, and that could be seen as. But even like smaller things, like he was like frequently going for covers. Yeah. Which is something like heels do very often.
Yeah.
And so we kind of got the tease of the heel turn, which I know you and CJ were like absolutely clamoring for.
Yeah.
But I liked kind of how it worked out with both of them staying babyface, as I don't feel like we need heel Cody quite yet. And then it ended up being one leading into one of the biggest moments of the year.
Yeah. Well, I think for this big moment of the year, we need to go to a video which I've been sent. So this is a video, and this is a fan reaction, and let's see if we can spot the fan who's giving this reaction for it. Yes, that was Bobby with Brock. Yeah, so Brock Lesnar returned at the end of that match as John Cena was walking away. I had to play that, so we had Bobby's reaction there for that one. But it's that was a shock to everyone. I don't think anyone expected Lesnar, and that nobody expected Lesnar in that after. And I did there was something that came down afterwards as well, or two things actually, was, Michael Cole's reaction to the holy shit and everything like that. Apparently,
Yeah,
Michael,
did they not know?
yeah, they were not told. They were told something was going to go down after the match, and Cena was apparently told at the last second as well. Like, he was told by referee, like, prepare for a bump and that at ringside, but that was it.
Yeah.
Nobody knew who was coming or anything for that. And, like, a lot of people started then speculating, oh, is Dwayne actually here and stuff like that, because of the whole Cody storyline
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But then when Brock's music hit, that was apparently a legit reaction from them all, because they wanted that legit reaction and that from them. And I think that made it a lot better.
Yeah, it works really well. Yeah.
So that, I mean, we've seen how much the crowds went down. A lot of people online have been like, "Oh, I'm done with WWE now because they've let a sex offender back in and stuff like that." It's like, well, no, read the facts. Read the facts, love, and everything like that. But that's just the IWC basically going on. But
pretty much.
Yeah, that was
I mean,
yeah.
I was gonna say I'm a big fan of Brock Lesnar. I'm not gonna lie, I'm very happy with the fact he's back. And I mean, the way they did it was, again, a very perfect way to end night 2, just like the end of night 1, very perfectly. And but I mean, I said in our group chat, this whole like, well, I didn't have John Cena turning heel on my bingo card. After that, I ripped up my bingo card because I'm not playing anymore.
No, yeah. I mean, this is the other thing as well, which I find quite interesting, was Paul Heyman going back to Paul Heyman's interview as well that he done with Arawara yesterday. Quite an interesting watch. It's a good one to go back and watch. He basically said that on the week leading up to SummerSlam, there was talks of swapping Brock and Seth round. Yeah. So they were actually going to have Brock come out and take out CM Punk on night 1, and then set up a Brock and CM Punk feud for that one. And then they were then going to have Seth cash in on Cody to like ruin that sort of like moment of, Cody winning it back and everything like that. And they were going to sort of do the whole, Cody held the title and then Seth comes in and literally rips it away from him. But to me, it was perfect the way they've done it, because now you've got the Brock and Cena feud and everything like that. But yeah, that's what they were originally, apparently that was being spoken about, and they were originally going to swap them round. And I don't know sort of like how I would have felt about that, really. Sort of like having.
Yeah, when I kind of saw like a little bit of that, I didn't like read it properly, but I assumed by the fact that they had the idea of Seth cashing in and Brock coming back, when they meant by swap it, I thought they meant just swap the main events.
No. They were going to have Seth.
I didn't read it properly, so
So like I was saying, the original plan was they were going to have Seth cash on Cody, and then Seth was then going to move to SmackDown and stuff and do it that way and hold the championship on there and sort of ruin that moment. But then they then thought it'd be a bigger moment, him ruining CM Punk's moment and that, rather than having a CM Punk and Brock Lesnar feud for the championship. They're now going to have it non-title Brock versus Cena feud, because apparently what it was Cena mentioned that he wants to face Brock in one of his retirement matches, but like they didn't decide when and stuff. And like Triple H came out and said that he rang Brock up or something like a week or so ago.
They were waiting for legal to clear Brock as well.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things. But then apparently Triple H and Nick Khan rang Brock up and told him and said it's time for you to come home, and Brock agreed and was like, yeah, that's fine, yeah, we'll do it that way. So I mean, it's probably a combination of both. They were probably waiting for the okay from legal, and then they obviously then rang him and was like, time for you to come back, legal have cleared you and stuff. But I mean, it's, if they had swapped around that idea and had Seth cash in on Cody and then a Brock and Punk feud, to me, I think that might have ruined it, because you would have had your biggest surprise on night 1, really. Correct?
Maybe, but like, to be fair, the thought of doing Cody and Rollins through a cash in, I think would be good, and then doing Punk and Lesnar would be good. So I think either way, I would have been happy. So from personal preference.
I mean, it was to me, I think it was more sort of the surprise thing that, if you had Lesnar show up on night 1 and that's your biggest surprise for the weekend, then it sort of takes away from the cash in, really. You had the cash in, which was the appetizer, really. And then you had the Brock, which was your main course. And that, in my eyes.
I don't know. It's kind of because the Brock thing, like, as much as like of a big moment it does feel like a bit of a casual fan return as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas the Money in the Bank cash in, because of the lore of it and the whole story with Cody and Rollins and Money in the Bank and stuff, feels like a big moment for the weekly fans,
Everyone.
the ones that are here all the time for everything. So I feel like either way it could have worked.
Yeah,
Again,
I mean,
that's my
but
point of
no,
view.
but no, that's quite that was quite an interesting thing that came down there and stuff. And Paul Heyman's comments on Brock Lesnar as well, which was basically like, he's here, you're not going to be able to cancel him no matter how hard you try. Basically, he's here for a little while. He's got a couple of feuds and stuff in him and stuff. And it's people can try as much what they like online, but they ain't going to be able to get rid of Brock. And he's in. He would have signed that deal. And I've even seen people going as far as tagging the sponsors in posts and stuff, because they're like, they've heard from somebody, I can't remember who said it now, but somebody was like, oh, the reason why they got rid of Vince McMahon was because the sponsors basically turned around and said, we're going to pull out unless you essentially get rid of Vince and stuff.
Yeah, I remember hearing those reports.
And then so now the same sponsors who basically turned around and said that, which I think was Slim Jim and stuff, everyone's now basically tagging Slim Jim in it, saying demands that Brock Lesnar gets released and demand that they get rid of Brock Lesnar.
I mean, I get it. But Brock didn't do, there's a big difference between what Brock allegedly did and what Vince allegedly did.
It's like, it's stupid that. But this is the thing, is what people have got to remember as well, is one of the main things that people are saying is, there's no justice or anything like that in this and stuff. What they're forgetting is who the president of America is. The president of America is very good friends with Vince McMahon and very good friends with, well, obviously he's got Linda on his cabinet and stuff and that. And even everyone's turned around and said this, and even some people online who sort of practice law and stuff like that, they've turned around and said, even if Vince gets convicted, Trump will just overturn it. Trump will basically pardon him because of how close friends they are and stuff, and because Linda's on the cabinet, he won't want that association there. So basically, Trump will just turn around and say, "Oh, you might have been sentenced to whatever this is, but I'm pardoning you." End of, basically, and then that shuts it down anyway, because obviously over in America you can't be tried for the same thing twice. So all this stuff then basically, if anything else comes up from it, they can't do anything about it. So in my eyes, Janelle Grant might as well just take a payout and just go, basically, because she's going to waste her time.
Well, as fans, and I know that maybe the casuals don't know this as much, but there's the case of Vince never gets done for anything. Vince always wins.
Yeah, so, he's beaten the government several times, hasn't he? So.
So for us, we're if he did get pardoned for it, we'd be like, well, yeah, of course he did.
Normal, it's just normal, isn't it? Basically, whereas you just have all these people online he better not get let off, and I've seen people online he needs to serve jail time. It's like, he's never going to serve jail time.
No,
he's number one. He's a billionaire, and billionaires don't sell. Well, obviously, you've got people like Diddy and stuff like that who are serving jail time, but this is Vince McMahon we're talking about. Best friends with Donald Trump and stuff. Guy ain't serving jail time, and that guy ain't going to serve jail time at all. So whatever they're attempting to try and do, they ain't going to get it. The most Janelle Grant's going to get is a payout. That's it, basically. That's all she's going to get. She's going to get a payout and another NDA slapped on her, and it'll be a lifetime NDA, basically, that she'll have. So, it will be, I expect. That's what the lawyers will slap on her. They'll be like, right, if you accept this payout, then you've got to sign a lifetime NDA. And that'll be it. And anyone sort of associated with it as well will have to sign lifetime NDAs as well. So, but it's just people.
But at least we got a good documentary out of it.
Yeah, we got a good documentary out of it and stuff. And I mean, I can see a part 2 at some point when Vince, when Vince gets let off, they'll do a Mr. McMahon part 2.
No, it'll be a
Vince.
when or if Vince passes away, that's when we'll get the second one, when they can talk about whatever they want.
Yeah, that'll be it. When they're not restricted down or whatever. So because Vince very micromanaged that, didn't he? So but well, that's everything this week then. Have you got anything you want to bring up or announce or anything like that, really? You've got future products or anything? Or any future videos?
I've got projects coming up, with guests and all new stuff coming to the channel, a new podcast hopefully starting soon. But also lots of different content coming on the channel as well. Tomorrow I have a video coming out about Chris Statlander possibly joining the Death Riders in AEW.
Okay.
I've done a list of more, like kind of following on from another list. I have more WWE matches that new and returning fans should check out.
Yeah.
And as well as coverage of TNA Emergence and then Heatwave and Forbidden Door.
Fair enough, yeah, that's cool. Obviously we've got the watch along as well tomorrow on the Front Row Plus as well. I'm also putting it on YouTube. I've had a discussion and it's going on YouTube as well because we're sort of I want to try and get more eyes on it, but I'll speak to you about that later on. But so it'll be on this YouTube channel and also the Front Row tomorrow. That'll be with, I believe you're joining us. Are you joining us tomorrow?
I believe so.
Yeah. So that'll be me, Leo, and CJ possibly again, depending on whether his space runs over again. But if not, it'd definitely be me and Leo for it. So so join us tomorrow for that one. I've also got some other things as well, some exclusive content coming soon to here and to the Front Row. So don't forget to join us on there. That is frontrow.net if you want to go onto there and check us out. Thank you once again for joining. You obviously seen the British Takeover again for this one. And
Bobby on tomorrow.
That's another one. I've got a special show as well with Bobby tomorrow where we're going to basically be discussing his reactions to SummerSlam, especially that Brock Lesnar reaction, and like some interesting things that came down. Like there's a little advanced thing here. What we're going to be talking about is the fan passing out right next to him in the stadium at the time. So we're going to bring that one bit up as well tomorrow and a couple of other bits and pieces. So do not forget to tune on in and we'll see you tomorrow. And what I will do is I'm going to leave this with another video to end this with, a quick 28-second clip of, as I think you labelled it, Stadium Stampede at SummerSlam. So before we go, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channels, and we will see you next time. Thank you.
Oh, look at the team, son.